Okay, Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Sabbath. How's everyone? I hope everyone is well and enjoying their Sabbath. We got a beautiful day out there. Got up early today. Didn't get a chance to do my exercise, but I feel good. And we're going to continue on with the testimony of Yeshua, the Basarah of Yeshua, the good news of Yeshua. We find that Yeshua was a teacher of the commandments. Okay. Contrary to belief, Yeshua did not come to remove from us the righteous standard of Torah. He came to reveal to us the true nature of Torah, bringing us good news of redemption, good news of salvation, good news of purification, and blessing us with the dunamis, the power, koach, ability of the Ruach HaKadosh, by which we are able to fulfill the righteous standard of Elohim. I'm going to continue. We're in Matthew 5:29, and this is a good teaching on lo tenaf. You shall not adulterate. Okay? It's good because the opposite of purity is adulteration. So this commandment goes beyond the rudiments of just you having a wife and then you desiring another woman. You know, there has deep spiritual implications, how we take the concepts of the carnal mind and integrate them into the ideals of the word and pretty much void the word in doing so. I had a discussion this week where one so-called Moré was saying that we didn't need the Spirit to fulfill the commandments. You know, that was a false teaching of Paul. You know, sometimes, you know, I'm amazed, like I said, that the word is so clear on just elementary points, how we get so confused. I don't know if it's the junk food or the fluoride in the water, but whatever it is, it's time for us to move on and continue on in the higher enlightenment, because we know that all power belongs to Yahweh, and He has shared this power with us through the Mashiach Yeshua. The purpose for Him coming was to fulfill the prophecy of Joel, I shall pour my spirit out upon all flesh. Okay, that is all who seeks to be engrafted within the covenant of the house of Judah and the house of Israel. They are given the spirit of Yahweh for the purpose of fulfilling the righteous standard of Torah as it is written. So Yeshua, last week we studied where Yeshua taught, and this is the second part of that teaching, where Yeshua taught Ve'ani Omar Likim Shekol Harohe Isha We Yikmod Ota Kibar Naf Imah Be Lebah. That is to say, and I say to you, that all that is looking, a constancy there, looking, active participle, at a woman, and he covets her. Kibar, already or soon, he will adulterate with her in his heart. Okay? So the obsessive wanting, which is suggested by rohe, looking, all right, suggests an obsessed emotional disposition towards a woman or the woman, in order to become one with her in his heart. But this is not permissible because you already have an Isha. Okay? An Isha that you have made covenant with according to the law of Bereshit to become one with. And thus your desire should be for her. You should covet only her love, only her affection. Okay? This is what Yeshua is teaching. But when you find this obsessive desire within you, this promiscuous inclination, it gives you the signal that you need to do something, okay? And that you need to know how to do it by the action of the Ruach HaKadosh, how to work with the Ruach HaKadosh to eliminate this desire, this protruding of the heart towards something that you know is Yitzhahara, something that is forbidden. So Yeshua continues to say in Matthew, Ve'im ye siteka eyineka ha yam min nikar ota ve te tesh likim mimeka. Okay? We read that again. Ve'im ye siteka ayineka ya hayamim nikar ota ve te shalika mimeka. And this is the translation. And if he inflames or she inflames your eye, the right, if she inflames the right eye, and it offends her, so you shall abandon it from yourself. Okay? And we need to understand seat, or siteka. She inflames, to inflame, to ignite a fire. Okay? Because ash, fire, is representative of the lust of evil in man. But in Elohim, it is representative of the love of good. That's why it says that Yahweh is a consuming fire. Okal. Okay? Okal, consuming. Same word we get from to eat. Because when you put food in your mouth, it goes through a fire process. It's broken down by hydrochloric acid, fire. That's what acid is. It's liquid fire. Okay? Which causes your body to consume and at the same time assimilate the nutrients from that food. Where it says that Yahweh is a consuming fire. That fire is the fire or the life of what is good. It consumes the opposite of its nature. Okay? Whereas in man, unredeemed man, or the unredeemed qualities that we have, even as we are seeking to obtain righteousness, sometimes we are inflamed by Yitzhahara, evil inclinations. And that evil inclination can inflame itself towards an object or a person or an ideal that is erroneous and become obsessive, so obsessive that it can't take correction. Okay? It can't take correction. It sounds like most people in Babylon. They can't take correction. When I say Babylon, I mean in a state of mental cognitive confusion. Okay? So Yeshua says, if she inflames you, cause you to go into an obsessive desire that cannot be broken by your own power. Okay. See? If we can just on our own get rid of sin, then we would not need the word. We would not need the Spirit. But the fact that the Torah, according to the letter, was unable to give Israel the power of conquest over the Yetzer Hara of the heart, the evil inclinations of the heart. So Elohim sent his son in the form of sinful flesh to free us from sin, that we might fulfill the righteous requirements of Torah. See, this is clear. Okay. So Yeshua is saying, okay, now if you fall into this state of obsessive lust, that fire, that inflaming of the heart towards what is Yetzer Hara, what is forbidden, inclination towards what is forbidden by Torah, this is what you do. Teshlikim, abandon. Abandon. Okay? So if I abandon this house, I'm not going to just go and stand out in the street. I'm going to go into another house. Find me another house. Okay? So when he says to abandon, we have to think a little more deeper and say, okay, I'm abandoning this and I'm going to where? Okay? This kind of gives you what Yeshua was saying. You shall abandon it. What? The inflaming of the heart that covets the woman. That covets and desire to be one with something that will not purify you, but adulterate you, profane you, infest you with evil. Ra. Okay? Abandon it. He's telling you how to do this. He's telling you what your next thought should be. And you say, well, I don't have the power to abandon it. Okay, that's why you got me, Yahweh Elohim, the consuming fire. Okay, because it says in Psalm somewhere that the voice of Yahweh divides the fire, the flame, divides it. See? Just like he opened the Red Sea so that you can walk through it. Okay? And fulfill his will. Okay? But to understand that in Psalms 9, when it speaks of the fire, which we know is a symbol of the lust of evil, this is shown in Isaiah 9, where it says, Be-abrat, Yahuwah Zabaoth, Ne Tam Aritz, Vehihe Haham Ki Machola Asha. Being interpreted, the force or fury, the force or fury of Yahweh, Sabaoth, the Yahweh of hosts, shake you the earth, and being the people like or as or similar to devouring fire. Okay? So, this goes to what Paul taught. Turn them over to their evil desires. That's what he taught in Romans chapter 1. I don't have my Bible. Could you hand me the Bible over there? I think I've got the blue one over there. I forgot to bring it. Showing you how Elohim, when you persist in this fire, he'll turn you over to it to be devoured. That's why it says that in Psalms, it says, Bakurahul Akla Ash. The young men are consumed with fire. The lust of evil. They're overtaken. This is where Paul got the thought and the understanding in Romans 1, and he gives us this scenario concerning Yahweh's judgment. First he says, for the wrath of Elohim is revealed from heaven against all wickedness and unrighteousness of men who suppress the truth and unrighteousness. He said, therefore Elohim gave them up to the uncleanness in the lust of their hearts. This is when you know a society is under judgment. When the moral degradation increases. When Yahweh gives you up to the lust, to the fire of your heart to be consumed and consummated by it. Okay, this is called a reprobate state. To disrespect their bodies among themselves. You know, how we disrespect our bodies. Eat a bunch, eat anything. It's called gluttony. The system calls it an obese problem. Yahweh calls it gluttony. Okay. So you got these 20-year-old to 60-year-old people walking around 300-400 pounds. Then they so messed up in the mind. Well, God make little people. He make medium-sized people. No. What made you fat is gluttony. Eating the wrong foods. Okay. You know how we disrespect our body. Okay. With immorality. Jumping from one partner to another. Not understanding the science of sexuality. We're not taught anything in the schools. But how to get a job. So that we can continue serving a exploitative system and enrich it. Okay. You know how we disrespect our bodies. Who change the truth of Elohim into falsehood and worship and serve what was created rather than the Creator who is blessed forever. Now because of this is Yahweh's reaction to our arrogance. This is Yahweh's action to our obsessiveness towards bringing the knowledge of righteousness down to a level of social science. Okay. The way you dress. To make sure aesthetically you don't appear to be evil. Even though behind the closet, you really, as long as don't nobody know, I'm going to do it. Because you're not conscious of Elohim. It says, because of this, Elohim gave them over to degrading passions, fire, to be consumed. For even their women exchange natural relations for what is against nature. And likewise the men also have left natural relations with women. Burned in their lust, fire, for one another. Men with men committing indecency and receiving back the reward which was due for their strain. And even as they did not think it worthwhile to possess the knowledge of Elohim, Elohim gave them over to a worthless mind to do what is improper. So we can see that the judgment of Elohim, the burning of the cities, the famine of wheat, wine, honey. See, these things reflect a consuming of divine qualities in man that persist in fulfilling the lust of their flesh, the lust of their eye, and the pride of this life. You know, the American dream. I got a nice house and a car. job making 100,000. I'm somebody. See? Where you have been taught to think that the acquisition of possessions is a means of importance or righteousness. It's not. It is not adultery. You have given your heart to the woman of materialism. You have given your heart to the woman of sexual lust, some whore on the street, and departed from your Isha that Yahweh has given you. See? So you have not followed the instructions of your Messiah, your Christ. Abandon it. Teshlekim. Abandon. You abandon it. Abandon that desire. Abandon that lust. The lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of this life. Abandon these ideals that have turned the truth of Elohim into falsehood. Okay? See, this just goes beyond just a physical woman. Okay? But Yeshua is teaching this and giving us within it a principle. This doesn't just reflect the coveting of just a female outside of your marriage relationship, which you shouldn't covet anyway. I'm glad that the only thing I desire is my wife. It makes me happy. If I feel a desire for another woman, I know it's time to abandon. That is, to go into my closet and begin through supplication, extracting or allowing the Spirit to extract this covetous desire from my heart. The only way I can know to do that is to know the righteous standard of Elohim. Lo tenaf. Thou shalt not adulterate. And in my relationship with Elohim, if I start desiring anything apart from his will, apart from what I know to be his righteous standard, Tesh Lekim, I'm going to abandon it. I'm going to go into intercession. I'm going to go before the altar of incense and begin to confess before Elohim my sins. Confess these evil desires that are seeking to deviate me from obedience of the righteous standard of Elohim. See? Yeshua is teaching Torah. Okay? Even as Paul taught the principles of Torah, that's all he taught. We just can't see it because he doesn't use that language that is conducive to the carnal mind. So you have to be of a spiritual mind to understand. That's why they got, Paul, he's against the Torah, he's this, he's that. Man, don't go. The same man that said, neither circumcision nor uncircumcision matter, but the keeping of the commandments. The same man that said that do faith annul or void out Torah. El forbid we establish the Torah. So you have to remove these scriptures that show Paul maintaining the righteous standard of the Torah to teach that he abolished it. That's why don't nobody know that these scriptures exist, because they don't teach them. Okay? And that's why the church, as well as most Hebrews, are living in idolatry. Some ignorantly and some arrogantly. Because we fail to discern the righteous standard of Elohim and the usefulness of the Holy Spirit to extract these inflammations, this fire from our heart that causes us to covet the things of the world. And what we do is Because we don't want to let go of that covetous fire. We begin to conform the word to fit the desire. And that's where we go astray. Instead of obeying the instruction of the Mashiach, who says, abandon it. Abandon these desires. Abandon these protruding. Oh, I wish I could go deep with this. Okay. But I have convinced myself through observation these last 3 years, since the junior flip theologians have been on the scene, that we have fallen back away from proper knowledge, and we need Mashiach redeveloped within us so that we can put some bulbs in this skull and be enlightened by the Ruach HaKadosh. It's a terrible thing to put the word of Elohim into the hand of one who is dedicated to the lust of the carnal mind, who turns Elohim's truth into falsehood by converting the letter of knowledge to fit the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of this life. This is why Yeshua said, unless you deny yourself, abandon the lust of your eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of this life, you cannot be one of my disciples. See, this is how you measure yourself. Am I living the life of self-denial? Am I living the life that abandons the woman? Especially the woman that sits on the beast. You know, the one with that golden cup that she makes you drink from, filled with abominations and filthiness. Okay? So the marriage relationship is representative of Mashiach and the nation, of Elohim and the nation, of Yahuwah and the nation, and its conjugal union by the woman, you know, the one with the 10 stars on her head. 12 stars, rather. By the woman birthing the male child through conjugal union. Okay? We're not going to break that down any further than that, because we need to grow step by step. I tell my Isha all the time, I really want to teach the higher things of Elohim, but every time I plant the seed, they say kill it before it grows. Okay? Because some men, some women, and we've encountered many, use religion as a means of self-aggrandizement, which is the opposite of self-denial. Well, I think it should be done this way. We don't need you to think how it should be done, because the instruction of the word teaches us how it should be done. And see, this is what we need to discipline ourselves through the logical and rational deducement of the understanding of the word, and to present our minds to Elohim for enlightenment of the knowledge that is within us. And see, in the Hebrews, you need instruction. Most of you need to be students. But instead, you choose to be teachers because you seek self-aggrandizement, so you just say all the pretty things to make people believe that you're something that you're not. We need to understand that this teaching goes beyond just the sexual relationship with a physical woman, but that spiritual woman. The system that you depend upon as your provision. The system that you depend upon for your healing. The system that you won't let go of because you fear you can't exist without it. See? But you clothe it up, you know, cover it up, pad it over. Oh no, I trust in Yahweh until you get sick. Then you at the drugstore, not in prayer. Oh, I didn't seen it so many times. But when we gain the ability to batak, trust our Creator, let go of that woman, the system, the religious idolatry, the lust of the flesh towards other women other than your wife. When we really obey lo tenaf, you're going to see a change. You're going to see a rise of people of power, and the word of Elohim will go before them. I don't say this because I think I'm better than anyone. I say this because it is the truth. I don't think I'm smarter than anyone. I say this because it is the truth. I learned early through my stumbling and bumbling, through my adulterations. Okay? Seeing the ministry only as a means of building a big mega church, having people reverence me as a great prophet or something. See, I went through all that. Putting my name on billboards and light. I went through all that until Yahweh checked me. He said, look at the birds of the air. They neither sow nor reap, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are not you of greater value than they? In other words, if you do my will, I'm going to handle it the way I want it to be handled. I'm going to feed you when I think you need to be fed. I'm in control, not you. Give up your dreams and visions and embrace mine to fulfill it. And so I abandoned that lust. That's why I can be small and content, even though I have a great desire to share the word on a massive level, to do tzedakah on a massive level. But you got to have willing helpers, which we don't have. Because we're still stuck, whether we call ourselves Hebrew or Christian, Muslim, those cultured in this world are still stuck in the rhythm of supremacist culture. The rhythm of seeking self-aggrandizement. The rhythm of seeking to be number one. You remember when they say that all the while? Be number one. Okay. Festing your mind with and your heart with self-aggrandizement. Yeah, I'm going to be number one. And not logically thinking there's over 9 billion people in the world. How anybody going to know you're number one when you only know 1,000 of them? When the newspaper puts you in the newspaper, or when you become a celebrity or TV, you know, come on. Let's wake up to righteousness. Okay? We are commanded that when we are inflamed, when our eye is inflamed, when our mind is completely consumed, akal, with coveting something that is yitzhahara, an inclination towards evil. We are to abandon it from ourselves, separate it completely from our existence, from our culture, from our diet, from our prayer, from every element of our life. These lustful chatmud, desires, inclinations must be abandoned. This is the teachings and the instruction of our Messiah, of Yahweh's Messiah, Yeshua. Okay? Your title is not going to get you pure. You celebrating Sabbath every week is not going to get you pure. It's a testimony, and it's a great testimony, but it's not going to purify your heart from the inflammation of evil desire. That's going to be done through the obedience of truth empowered by the Ruach HaKadosh. Okay? And when you find inability in yourself to do it, don't cover it over with aesthetic religiosity. Get into that closet. Call upon your Maker. that he might remember his covenant with you. That the Ruach HaKadosh from Yahweh Elohim might act to circumcise the foreskin of your heart. That hardening of the heart, like the hardening of the penis towards a woman when he is inflamed with lust for her. See what I'm saying? The protruding of the heart in lust. This is what Paul was saying. He said, hold up, now it's not the foreskin of the heart, but it's the foreskin, it's not the foreskin of the penis that's symbiotic, symbolistic. Okay? But it's the protruding of the heart in evil desire towards the world, the objects of the world, and the fleshly characteristic of the world that separates you from the Spirit. Oh, I wish I can get deep with this. I wish I can take us to that place of spiritual reality where we can actually see the will of Elohim apart from the religious conditioning of fleshly ordinances and aesthetic modifications that we have been cultured into, thinking that it commends us to Elohim. It does not. The only thing that's going to commend you to Elohim is zaklib, a pure heart. You can be dressed like Stephen Fetchers. You can be dressed like George Washington. You can be dressed in the glory of aesthetics. But if the heart is not pure, you're just a whitewashed tomb full of dead bones. We have to learn the true science of the word, the merismosis of the soul, that separates the day from the night, the upper from the lower, that merismosis, that division of the soul, the heart, from Yitzhahara, evil desire. Then we will grow into Kal Israel, the pure Israel, that admits righteousness, that admits truth, that admits sincerity, that admits honesty from the presence of divine nature within us. Lo tenaf, do not adulterate. Separate yourself from that woman on the beast. When you pray, Yah, show me the woman on the beast. Show me the contents of her cup. Show me the doctrine that she took. This is why the Spirit was given to you, to help you to see what your natural eyes can't see, so that you don't be deceived. Yahweh will uncover the darkness with his light, just like he did this week when someone came to me and said, well, I've been looking for you, but I asked all the other Hebrews, where are you at? And they told me they didn't know. I know people who know where I am. One sister, when she was sick, we made sure each month we gave her money and food. Was one of them, speaking evil against us. But but when she sees us, the aesthetics of religiosity come on. Hey, brother. See, that's idolatry towards me. In my face, you love me. Behind my back, you hate me. You're going around telling people not to come to our Sabbath class, not to fellowship with us. These are Hebrews who are supposed to be causing righteousness and not division, righteousness and not confusion, righteousness and not slander. So the title doesn't mean anything. Get that in your mind. That the righteous are identified by righteousness. That the wicked are identified by wickedness. That is, actions, behaviors, and obsessions that oppose the righteous standard of Yeshua. When I was younger, things like that would hurt me. But as I developed in the logistic, rational ability to react towards slander, towards evil against me and my family, or me and someone else, or just anyone. I don't even allow people to talk to me about other people maliciously behind their back. I tell them, you need to take that somewhere else. I don't mix with that. I don't adulterate with it. That's the rebuke, turning to the left. You slap somebody on the right, I'm going to turn to you to the left. Of rebuke. Reproof. So, adulteration goes and manifests in many forms. And you who worship Elohim for the purpose of obtaining a pure heart that you might see him, examine yourself constantly and understand that when you abandon the house of lust, do so by going to the house of prayer. Going into your closet, evoking Elohim for his power to execute a circumcision in your heart and get that foreskin, that fleshly characteristic from your heart, so that you can desire only that which is contained within the righteousness of Torah. This is great teaching to me. This is great instruction for me. Because I hate everything that is against Elohim. And so when it rises up in me, I know to abandon it. I don't have to ask questions. I don't have to call up the pastor. I know that the altar of incense is there, ever before me. And I can petition Elohim in the confession of sins, in the seeking of his power, in the seeking of the sword of the Spirit, to circumcise the foreskin of my heart. As the prophets instructed Israel, they didn't listen. Okay. Come out of aesthetics, just mere scientific understanding of the word, and then framing the word, into a race doctrine or into a doctrine that actually negates the supremacy and dominion of Elohim. When the brother said, well, we don't need the Spirit to become perfect. He got all these scriptures together, to my mind, totally irrelevant. Okay? Because the first statement, if you're trying to prove the first statement, which is false, with scriptures, I know you're using the scriptures wrong. I don't even have to consider that. Not by power, nor by strength, but by my Spirit. Took that scripture and he did something to it that, like a mad scientist, and created Frankenstein. Okay. So you that are pure, who are seeking the purity of heart, lo tenaf, thou shalt not adulterate. Lo tenaf, be pure of heart. Zak, live, be pure at heart. Seek the purity of heart. This is going to open your eyes from glory to glory, from faith to faith, into a complete inner visual reality of Elohim in you, the hope of glory. So I bid to you, Shalom Aleichem. I hope that everyone has copied this down. Everybody copy this down. Study. Continue to investigate. Okay. Make sure that the translation is proper. And if you find something that I missed, bring it to me. I want to learn too from you. Okay. We're in this together as one body, many members. So I bid to you, Shalom Aleichem. I hope everyone have a good Sabbath. And I'm not going to say Happy Father's Day. You know, your father every day. That's just another means of the capitalistic system to get you to buy stuff. If y'all ain't figured that out, then it's on you. I celebrate my fatherhood every day by loving my son and my wife. So I'm not gonna compromise on that. You know, have a nice day tomorrow. You know, and live righteous. Shalom Aleichem.